I mean, if you like house, this thing bangs on you all day long, baby. Bang, bang, bang. We'll be there in 7 minutes. Let me put his shirt on over here. Every time I use that hard drive, I have to transfer the file to the actual computer. Anyway, shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Lifer Show, baby. Had a wonderful day. It was beautiful. We called along. We're going to show you how we did it. We've been long for Bitcoin since this bullish divergence on the smaller time frames. We were able to catch the bigger idea. And we've had a trade open for a while here that we've talked about. I even posted it on Twitter, live on Twitter. And we're going to break it down for you right now and show you how you could have played this move and not been one of the liquidated. Only the few stood strong. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for being here. May God bless each and every one of you for sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Take a look at the chat right here before I jump on in. Who's out there in my group here in the trading group? Shout out to Crypto Billy. Good to see you, OG. Shout out to GF Burke in the house. Shout out to Ricardo Alameda. Shout out to After Hours Investing, grinding with the BRC20 token. Shout out to Crypto Billionaire. Shout out to Raise the Spirit. Shout out to Yonito Shehielsa. Shout out to Ryan Foshung. Shout out to Jim Borg 66. Shout out to Ricardo Alameda again. Shout out to Crypto Clown World. Brett Mohar, an OG in the game. Shout out to Jean-Remy Osiario. Shout out to Jeffrey Anderson. Shout out to Kelly Kellum in the house. My man. Shout out to Cesar Cordero. Shout out to After Hours Investing. PS5 Future of Gaming. My man. My man. Shout out to Ken Mark. Shout out to Renzo Garcia. Shout out to Evan Horizon. Moto Mayhem. Lewis Simple. Tito Gaines. Crypto Plumber Tori. Van Physiolotto. Jan Lanyarts. My man XMMGX. Ayo. Shout out to Rooster. Shout out to Chad Smith. Shout out to my man Mississippi 4589. Shout out to Diego Rodriguez. Lifer Adam. Love Learning. CG Babylon. Crypto Pappy. Wow. Ken Mack. Wow. Wow. Philip, GF Burke, Jesse M. My man. Crypto Billy again saying what up to Kelly Kellum. I see it all. What's up, man? We are a family. Shout out to Creators Crypto. Chris Melendez in the house. Jennifer Moffitt in the game. West Salvador, my man. Lieutenant Dangle in the game. Chris Melendez holding it down. And Piquio Nobre. At Brazil, my man. Shout out to Elvis Prophet, my man. NBS Crypto. Lieutenant Dan Dangle in the house. OGs, XX Gaming. Shout out to Ken Mack. Shout out to Jen Leonards again. All right. I like what I'm seeing here. Shout out to each and every one of you for being here. May you have a wonderful day. Let's get back into brass tacks here. Just wanted to say hi to the family. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live stream. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time on this beautiful Sunday night as we cruise into a beautiful weekly close for Bitcoin. How could you not ask for something better? And the trading group just absolutely nailed it. I've been honing in on Bitcoin and nailing it. You know, I used to say that even if you just take a look at my trading group, sorry about that, and you just look at my thumbnails are prophetic. They've been for a long time. And you break down the live thumbnails, and I mean, you're saying here, like, Bitcoin pump must see, all right? Huge move coming. This was a big idea, too. There was a big move coming for Bitcoin. I mean, a lot of people say that that's a little, like, I get it, but fast Bitcoin update, Bitcoin pumps hard, Chinese money coming. I'm just showing you, man, bullish move ahead right here. 2 days ago, I felt this massive bullish move coming for Bitcoin. While most are wrong, must see bulls in control. And I saw something in the charts 2 days ago, and I'll explain what I saw, explain how I trade. I'll break it down for each and every one of you so you know how to do it yourself, how you can get down with the similar idea here, all right? Shout out to all of you jumping on into the live. I appreciate you more than you would ever know. The lifers, thank you for loving life just as much as I do. I appreciate it. I will come and be here every single day. You will come here every single day, and together we will form a force of nature that cannot be stopped. My daughter got me this daisy from the field. I mean, couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. Shout out to 260 people on the weekly candle close. We have so much more to do. We have so much to talk about. All-time history index, that's not correct, slightly so. Anyway. We're going to get into the weekly candle close right now. Get ready for Bitcoin and the weekly candle close. I could have went longer, but my wife's in the other room. Weekly candle close for Bitcoin. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate you all as we jump on into the weekly close. So let's break it down. You know, I kept saying as long, and this was the trade right here. You can see stop loss didn't have to be that far away. It's a 6-to-1 risk-reward ratio, which is one of the best trades you'll ever see in your life. And you risk 6.9% to gain 40% gains, right? And so this could be a massive trade. Stop loss right here below the moving averages, specifically below the 21 and the 200. That gives you double coverage, but there is likelihood that we would not get back below them anyway. All right. We're actually going to delete the work right now so we can kind of look at it clean, but keep our work there. How you do that is on the right side, you have everything highlighted because you'll see you have this little option tree or object tree, really. That's what it really is. Create a group of drawings, and you could name them long, 40K long, which that's really what it is. That's a long to 40K. And when we get there, people are going to be in awe and in shock, except the people that could see what was happening in the market. So, again, when moving averages start to get close and tight, first of all, you'll see the 21 cross the 50. Very good sign. Very, very good sign. Last time you saw the 21 cross the 50 right there was the beginning of a massive bull run for Bitcoin. A secondary time here was in this big pump up. And if you could go back further in time, like to the all-time history index, which is this one, let's go here, BTC USD all-time history index, and you go even further back. Sorry, let me get this done real quick. But when you see a weekly moving average cross, a smaller one cross a bigger one, it's a bigger sign than just to be like, oh, whatever. It's a significant sign that you must heed. So right here too, you can see both big bull runs were started, and they began on the weekly when the 21-day moving average would be crossing the 50. See right there? Beginning of a massive move to the upside. And what time? That was back in 2015. All right? And you know what? It might even go all the way back. This could be a weekly signal. And here it is again here in 2012. All right? The 21 crossing the 50 on the weekly, beginning of a massive bull run. So you have it here. All right, and I've never revealed this on my channel ever in my life to anybody. This is exclusive to this Friday night memorandum. We will be here together forever. And honestly, if you could keep drawing this back, you can see that the 21 would have crossed the 50 here at the first bull run Bitcoin ever had in 2010. You know what I mean? Because you could clearly see just by, you would see that eventually they would have been clumped up. The 21 would have crossed. So the first bull run in the history of Bitcoin started when the 21-week moving average simple crossed the 50 in 2010. We then had a nasty dump. We came back for more. And then, you could say that was our first beginning, and we did bottom there. And that's kind of an Adam and Eve with a higher right side in a way. It's kind of a twisted Adam and Eve in a way. All right? Boom, boom. But when the 21 crossed the 50 right here was the beginning of a massive bull run for Bitcoin. That was in 2012. All right? So there's two in basically the first, 3 years of Bitcoin's life. All right. Then that massive bull run, as you can see, begins when the 21 crosses the 50, and it just becomes insane. All right. And Bitcoin soars. All right. To $1,000. Wow. It was $1,100. People couldn't believe it. It went all the way from the lows of $93 to $1,247. What a move for bitty Bitcoin. It would then bottom back at 1,100 back to 171, and they would call Bitcoin dead, as they always have. All right, the same old story, morning glory. This is just what keeps happening to Bitcoin around the way. All right, and we'll bring it back to some hot beats. So, continuing on, who likes this story that we're reading here? Who wants to be a part of the future of this story? Who understands what I'm talking about? Who understands the story here? Who's with me right now? Where's everybody? Who's with me right now? Where is everybody? Who is with me in the chat? Shout out to everybody here on the live stream. Where else can you get this type of analysis? Where else can you get this type of clean-cut analysis that just makes you understand that it's what you want to see? It explains simply how moving averages work. You can do this on any indicator for any asset throughout time. And you're going to see that this isn't just Bitcoin. This is the way of the universe in which we live in. This is the Fibonacci's. This is the moving averages. This is the Wally sauce, so to speak, that you're drinking up. So 21 crossing the 50 here again, beginning of a massive bull run in 2015. So you saw it 2010, you saw it 2012, you saw it at 2015. And we're not talking just, that's like basically the bottom's in, and that's like your safe zone where you like, we had a new bottom, we retest the top zone, and we are gone. I wouldn't be surprised if it coincided with some type of 786. Oh, my hand. When my big fat thumb slips in between there and does that, I tell you what, it's one of my biggest pet peeves over here. I'm telling you what over here. So let's go back in time to where we were. We were in 2015. Right here where we see the 21 crossing the 50. What a move for Bitcoin, right? Yeah, when you take it from the pivot, you got to kind of force it. But I guess, yeah, from this line here, it's interesting. Wick's pretty close to the 786 from this wick here. Or from candle bodies, it goes right there. But then you have to take the wick from here, though. I'm just looking at some ideas for the 786 of a consistency. But so, anyway, so look, I mean, keep watching this idea. Bull with me. Don't bear with me, bull with me. So then we have our another run up here, that big run up. And again, this is a latent signal because we'd already started running by then. But it usually tells you that is, and then we had a black swan. We had a black swan, and it pushed it back down again. But once it crossed here again, so to me, this was a signal of a bullish move for sure. And I can say afterwards, we did not really bottom. We tried to make a bottom, but we just really wicked to some capitulation. A lot of people bought that wick to the upside. Looking back, you can see how the VRVP had a gap, and we just tapped the point of control and came back into the value area. It's just interesting. That's interesting, right? Shoulder head and you had this shoulder, this head, and a little bit of a right shoulder. You had hidden bullish divergence here because this was kind of flat while this was chasing up. There was some signs that Bitcoin was revving up to the upside. I'll tell you what, if you go watch my stream when I first started live streaming, back in the days of old, you would see me doing this. This is interesting. But if you've been watching me for years since I got on in 2019 and into 2020, you would have seen me doing this. It's simple as this for me. And I was just doing what I always do. And I saw tight moving averages. And I saw the length of the base of that pole. And I'm sitting there at $6,000 Bitcoin calling $29,000, $30,000 Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? This thing's going to 20K, I keep saying. I said, and it's going to break this all-time high. And I kept saying, one day you're going to look back on this huge... Because back then, this was the biggest thing we had. And everyone was wondering what was going to happen. And it's so weird how the mind changes through all the charts that you've been through in your life. I remember this time. I remember going through this time. Being a part of this psychologically, mentally. I can remember how it made me feel. I can remember, just the wonder and the will we ever make an all-time high idea. And we did. So it's like, eventually you realize this became just a tiny little blip in the map. And we dominated that. And just like this right here, one day is going to be so small, and we're going to be somewhere up in here in the clouds. And we're going to dominate this too as well. And this is the facts of life. But at the time, it's so hard to see, right? And people get lost in the sauce. So just sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, because it's going to go back faster than you realize. And if you do the right thing and you stay focused, you're going to make a boatload of money. And you're going to make enough to make you happy, to be able to quit your job, to be able to do what you want to do with your life. But you got to be disciplined, and you got to be focused now. The time is to not sit back and relax. The time is not to be complacent. The time is not to be whatever. The time is to take every minute you have by the throat. It is yours. Do not let someone take it from you. Don't go to the bar and waste your time. Don't do nonsense with nonsense people. Relax when you can. Hit the beach when you can. Right? Rejuvenate when you can. But for the most part, 90% of the time, you should be grinding. You should be on the move. You should be going for it every single day. Because that's what got me from here to where I'm at today. Okay? And accumulating and doing my thing. And I'm at levels I never thought I would be. All right? Levels in life and, Bitcoin levels. No, but I'm just saying, I never thought in my life that I wanted success. I never knew how exactly God was going to paint it for me or paint it with me. I love you all, and I appreciate everybody here on the live more than you would ever know. This stream is, again, like most streams, is for my father. May God bless him in his life. Shout out to the 373 people on the live stream. Did you order your CAS hardware wallet? No, I didn't even know we had one. Let me know. DM me and let me know the deal. Is there a website where I can find Bitcoin transaction fees plus the history chart? I don't know. That's a good question. You think Bitcoin going to have a hard time pumping because it's on derivatives on MEXC? I don't believe so. I think you're going to be fine, but we'll see. Let's work on a time machine to 2009. Take care of all this. Bing Bong just hopped on. Happy Sunday. Shout out to Dollar Crypto. Shout out to Doji Rocket. Shout out to Jeff Harbus. Shout out to Astro Magnus. Shout out to Lifer Friend. Love learning. Again, we love you. And then the corny song that I always have to skip, that I shouldn't skip. Who was made that way? Made what way? You know what I mean? It's too much. That's okay. That's all right. That's not too bad. Tangent wallet we talked about the other day. It's the Tangem. Interesting. Okay. I want to be able to like mine with that. I trade New York and work for the rest of the day. Sometimes I get to trade Asia if there is it, but I want to be in places in 5 years. Trying to find this. I'm putting in that hard work to secure my future. Blessed to the grinders. Amen. Was playing, over watching, listening, and heard my name, and I'm like, what is that? Never happened before. Appreciate you. Shout out to Dodger Rocket. I like it. Dodger Rocket, Doge Rocket, or Dodger Rocket. You kind of say both. It kind of blends. I kind of like Doger Rocket. Anyway, so let's break down the weekly candle close, shall we? Let's have some fun. All right, let's break it down. Remember, I don't want to delete my work before. Wow, we're at 8,300 now. Bitcoin is roaring, like absolutely roaring. It's on a tear, okay? It's out of control. It's banging to the upside. And, the shorts are just getting absolutely liquidated and flattened. And let's talk about it. I mean, we knew this was heavy resistance for Bitcoin, all right? I go back to the weekly. I'm just so excited to show you all these different things. But you knew how bullish I was. Who here knew how bullish I was? And a lot of people were like, you shouldn't be so bullish. I even got reprimanded by certain people. Back to the idea. So the 21 crossed the 50 there. And then we go forward, even forward here. And the 21 crossing the 50. I'm just saying, it's a significant thing. When it crosses here, it's a significant thing to the downside. It's a big deal. It's a pre-golden cross, all right? It's the first cross that truly happens before. Next thing you know, the 50 will curve up, and if that 50 will eventually cross that 200, you'll get a golden cross, all right? How many times did I go over the 3-day chart and show you how bullish the 3-day chart was? Many, many times, okay? We got orders all the way to 28,600 tonight. It looks like we'll likely squeeze up to that bigger area of liquidity. That's just kind of what's likely going to happen. It's pretty simple. It coincides with the swing high above this previous high, right? So right now, look, we're locked and loaded at the swing high. We want to make sure we get above the swing high. So we're going to talk about that in a second. If you go to like the daily time frame. So we had this major resistance that had to be broken. You know, if you remember correctly, I was constantly talking about it. And I had this green area, and I said, you know, we have to get a daily or a 4-hour candle close. I said at least by Monday afternoon, above this green line, or we're going to be in trouble. We're going to get rejected and come back down to the top of the channel, all right? But I kept saying, well, the daily looks like it has room. I said, that 3-day looks beautiful. And we talked about the daily having a bullish divergence. This was swing, this was swing down. We talked about the 8-hour having a bullish divergence. If you remember us going over this intently, all right? And you can see the 8-hour is even more apparent, all right? This was swinging up. This was swinging down. Boom, right? And it was I call these elongated bullish divergences, but we saw it on multiple time frames, and I kept pointing it out. Who here remembers me pointing out the 8-hour bullish divergence and going over this? Do you know how bullish Sam has been? It shows you haven't been paying attention. Much love, Sam. Shout out to Hannah King in the game. Shout out to Devon. Shout out to everybody here. Shout out to Hannah. Bullish from 15.8. Dominance is back to where it was when we hit 31K. So now we have this resistance on the daily. You see it at 28,197. We got to get back above that. We got to break above that, which we did. Look, we got, so this daily candle tomorrow, by Monday night, it's super important that we close above this resistance. We got to close a daily candle above. It's highly likely we're going up to this point of this high volume node here on the daily time frame. All right, this is going to be our volume area high where we have a bunch more. This is where we're gonna struggle. You know, smart place to look at taking some profits on a bigger trade, the low 29,000 area. All right, and this is simply support and resistance. This is also the gap. Look at the gap we got here. If we can stay inside this gap, you can see we can easily flow. Now, there's a chance we go sideways and we continue further up to 30,000. I wouldn't be surprised. Only time will tell. All right. We look at the 3-day chart, and I've been talking about this idea too. Now, see how we're going to come eventually cross this 200 SMA on the 3-day chart. And that is a falling wedge that breaks up 6 to 8% of the time. And I kept talking about that. That was important to me. I saw that this was really scooping high with aggressive moves. All right, same thing here on the RSI and the MACD, wanting to make a bullish cross here. So falling volume with falling price told me, where are the sellers? They're falling off. They're not there. Look at that. I mean, the sellers were just like, if sideways after what should be more downward pressure. Another thing that I went over numerous times on the live stream was I showed you the length of space between the stochastics from dotted line to dotted line, and I showed you the weakness in the bears. And I pointed it out visually as if you could be a carpenter who measures just a line, a board, you know? And so like we start here, and you can see stochastics went from dotted line down to dotted line. And you can see it was a massive move. A massive move. Like from here down to these areas, it was a massive move for Bitcoin, right? No good. And then we went from dotted line to dotted line again. And I'm just talking in general, right? I'm not being too specific here. I'm just saying when we eventually make it from dotted line to dotted line, and we were here, I mean, massive move for the bears, all right? Same thing here, dotted line to dotted line, massive move, right? And you can see that's it, dotted line to dotted line, massive move for the bears. Again, dotted line to dotted line here, you know, somewhat of a smaller move now compared to the 3 legs, right? And then dotted line to dotted line here, kind of not that bad at all, kind of sloping now. Dotted line here, that last final push down. Then we had dotted line here, okay? And all of a sudden, you can say we almost just really went sideways. It wasn't really that bad. And so as you start seeing the momentum indicator continue to do its oscillation, but you see price action not reacting in the same way as before, you can begin. Now, that should also be coupled with a bullish divergence, which we found on the 3-day chart on the RSI. These are the gems that most people are missing. This is what I can point out to you, because this is the pocket in which I've spent most of my time on in my life, right? So I'm able to find macro bottoms for Bitcoin, which really is the biggest opportunity of a lifetime, because, you know, there's a lot of coins that were lower at, like Caspa was super low in these low areas. Demetra was the lowest it ever was. This was when AGIX went to 4 cents, and it was really like the cream of the crop. For a bear market, there's been some 10x's, 5x's, 7x's. There's been some massive gains in the trading group. And it's been, I find it insane. And then PEPE comes out and all this other stuff, right? So, I mean, we're just looking for this move. You see it? And that's why I'm waiting for about 38,000. And this is going to be our next resistance zone. You know, once we've kind of dealt with this chop one time, we're going to come up to it again. We're definitely going to test 31,000 one more time, 30 to 30,000 area. But I'm just showing you. I mean, this is, I see no reason to stop this trade. Okay? And the weekly here, as long as we keep a stop loss below the 21-day moving average, I see no reason why this trade can't go well. It's just kind of, to me, it's just common sense, you know? And I could be wrong. Tomorrow, things could change. We could turn price action. And the second we get a weekly candle closing below this yellow line, okay, I'll say okay. I'll bet I'll break for that. I'll bet, you know what? It didn't play out the way it was supposed to. I'm 100% on that. But right now, as long as we stay above this 200 SMA, which we beautifully bounced on with tweezer bottoms on the weekly, I mean, and there's the shoulder, the head and the shoulder. We broke out. We retested the neckline, something I see all the time. And on top of all this, right, it's the idea of the cup and handle. Like, they call me Sammy Cup and Handy for a reason. Like, Samuel Cup and Handle, however you want to do it. Laugh out loud, say whatever you want. But, like, you know, I have a technical analysis nickname that bangs around the halls based on what I do for a living. All right? I'm one of the few technical analysts that actually has, like, a calling, a name for it, right? And, like, has its own, like, kind of, I don't know what you call it. I was thinking about it the other day. It's I'll come up with it. You guys probably know, and I'm, like, drawing a blank. Lifer is life, bro. CB, what's up, bro? Shout out to Crypto Bellico, man. Yeah, ETH gas is still dumb. It's horrible. It's horrible. And it's probably going to get worse as it gets more and more deflationary. So 28,600 looks like it's likely going to come into tonight. You know, interesting. Just putting that. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm just saying that's what the probability is of this move, right? They call me Dead Body Rowdy. Shout out to Mike L. Sam, not only is your name, but you have different type of cup and handles others don't see. Amen. Shout out to you, man. That's my moniker. Amen. That's my moniker. Thank you for my moniker. See, there's always someone on point who knows what I'm trying to say. That's the lifer way. Okay. So this money now is going to flow from Bitcoin into some other coins. All right. Like, look at this thing. It's just flinging back on the daily. And it's just, again, I'm not a huge fan of buying the breakout, but that thing is breaking out. And so I would look for a flag on a smaller time frame. But it tells me this log game thing can make a pretty nice move. All right. Now I'd wait for a flag. The flag would, but that daily seems like it's in the value area low. Wants to pump back to at least this area and continue to the upside. I would watch this LOGC. All right. Again, I have no money in it. No one told me to talk about it. I don't do that. I don't promote coins. I just don't take money. If you hit me up and you say, hey, we want to talk, I just don't do it. I might talk about a wallet. I might talk about an exchange. I might talk about things that I actually use, but I can't go on I'm just not doing that whole project thing. It's just not something I'll be doing. Just to make it clear, in case you have a friend or people email me or hit me sometimes, hey, we want you to, I just don't promote other people's projects. I promote my own teaching and technical analysis classes and, my trading group, because that's what I can stand behind because I created it, right? So that way no one can ruin my name. Amen. Right? Amen. So the key is to protect your name. My dad said, I named you Samuel James Price, and no amount of money you should never sacrifice your name for any amount of money. He said, as long as you keep your name pure, that's all that matters. My dad taught me key principles that I will stand by to the end of time. And they're strong, old Irish principles that were instilled in him. And, I feel like life's not worth living if you don't live in honor. Amen. So 28,600 is the next area of resistance. I'll say that again. And when we open up and break in, you can see there is still like dangling fruit here for a move to the upside. And what happens is people are in disbelief and they keep shorting now. You have the people who revenge trade now and they keep opening up a short. Eventually it has to hit and they continue to get rocked and wrecked. Okay? That's just what happens. And so it's the disbelief phase of the pump. If you weren't paying attention, then it is what it is, right? So that hit the 706 before a nice little pop into the golden pocket. Interesting. Talk about RBP today too, which was rare ball portion that I was looking at earlier this morning, posted to the trading group. It was looking like a pump too, the 200 SMA. All right, on the 1 hour time frame, if I remember correctly. And it did get sold off, right? It was, wow, they gave it and took it. But this thing in 4 hours was able to come right up to the 200 SMA. Get a little bit of resistance, right? It has a lower, basically a lower market cap. But this thing could just continue, to kind of gain some momentum here in this turn pile. I don't own any of it. I'm just something that I looked at today that I figured would maybe possibly get to the 200 SMA. And I just like to teach this idea. The pop to the 200 up, the top to the 200, and it usually comes after the divergence. Can we take a look at ORDI and have your take in the direction it's going? Thank you. Shout out to John Crispala, man. Thank you. God bless you. Love all mankind, respect to all. Question, bro. Is it a coincidence that the Fibonacci colors are the same as a rainbow? I mean, you can make them whatever color you want, honestly. I've added some, different colors because I want it to really stand out and do its thing. I guess I want to see certain colors a certain way. Wow, it's got like a bit of a diamond going on there now, Tom. These were two hot gainers the last 4 or 5 days. Pell, I remember VELO. We're looking at VELO too. I like VELO. VELO is interesting to me. And if you look at it, I mean, to me, that's starting to make what we call it in the game is a bull flag. A nice, healthy little bull flag too. And you could see this thing just continue to be a monster to the upside. I would be watching this for money to flow from Bitcoin back into VELO. You know, how I look at these is like the 5 or something like that, the 1 minute. I look for a smaller flag that looks enticing. And if that happens like this, I slowly kind of ladder run in, something that I'm looking at too. So I like what I'm seeing for VELO. And I like this littler flag that could probably, you know, get us out of this bigger flag to the upside. It's definitely something interesting to think about. VELO on my radar. I like when you break out of a falling wedge and then you flag out again. This also has like kind of elongated cup handle vibes. Coming back to the 21-day moving average, it's interesting. It has some falling volume to the downside with price action. And that 2-hour looks like a lack of bearish momentum. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing continued up another quick 36%. VELO on my radar looks pretty interesting to me. All right, we're going to take a look at ORDI from my man. Shout out to my man. Thank you for saying that. God bless you. And remember, best place to trade all these things is at MEXC. You can trade futures. You can trade spot. You see me get into many different spot positions and show you what I'm doing, what I'm holding, what I'm buying, what I'm into. You know, I have weight token. I have hello. I have all different types of tokens, you know, and use cases and ideas. I have a lot of CASPA. I have a lot of AGIX. I am loading up for the bull market, getting ready to unload into high liquidity zones when people are going crazy for the market. So, and that's the key. That's what we wait for. And this, hopefully, we can rock over a year and pay less capital gains. That's the key. All right. That's when a market really works. When you can hold positions for more than a year and pay, you know, because even when you make great swing trades and it's all awesome, you're going to pay that high tax bracket no matter what you do because it's in real time, right? It's not under a year. So remember, just understand these concepts. You never know. Just things to think about. So for Bitcoin, my target earlier today was just going to be 27,700. This thing continued to moon, but all you got to do is go to a smaller time frame. And once you see it start to moon, you start flagging it out, right? So like here was another little flag that started to form. And once you see that science and that tightness, you take the length of your pole and you ride it again, right? And then they'll get made like a smaller little flag here, right, after that target. And then you can ride that again. And then it's flagged out again here. And you get it. And then you take the length of this pole. And so I just dissect it. I figure that's the best way is to just take it level by level, snipe by snipe. And this tells me we're likely going up. And so does BOOKMAP. They really want that 28,600 level. They want to take out that previous high. So, but that's how you track Bitcoin. Like once it starts ripping and you see that you're in such a big candle in the 1 hour time frame that you can't see what's happening. You flip to BOOKMAP, right? You can use high block. You can switch. You can look at your liquidity. And when you see big giant orders between orders, you know there's shorts in this area about to get squeezed up. Okay, now you have the liquidity, you know. What they like to do is they like to squeeze. So when you see a big boy order on top, you know he's going to pull price to him. That's something that you have to understand about the market maker, right? About the higher liquidity zones of the whales. And once you understand that, it all starts falling into place, okay? Every single bit of it. Shout out to the 437 people on the live. I appreciate you all for being here. Who've never been to this live stream? This is their first weekly candle close with the Crypto Lifer. We're going to take a look at the dollar index. We're going to take a look at ES1. We're also going to be taking a look at Bitcoin and see what's happening in the morning. Full moon coming June 3rd, too, which is going to be interesting. Right into the Chinese inflection of money coming into cryptocurrency, we're going to have the full moon. Good day, Australia. Love you, brother. Good day from Australia. Shout out to Sebastian Carr. Shout out to Reed Crypto. Shout out to Sling and Slug. Shout out to Drain the Swamp 2024. Shout out to Jonathan Amja. Shout out to Creators Crypto. Shout out to Reacherus. Are you able to copy trades of another trader on MEXC? I believe you can copy trades. Sam is a special. Love all mankind. Respect. God bless you. We got to look at ORDI too as well. Okay. Gratitude is the attitude, love, and respect, and the universe will provide what you vibrate. Amen. God has heard, name of God. Yes, Samuel means, the one who hears God. Amen. God has heard, or the one God hears, maybe the other way around. Interesting. Full moon pump or dump. We usually pump on a full moon. We dump on a new moon. Yeah. So that's a good sign that there's more to come. So I see more pumpage coming for Bitcoin out of this smaller flag here on the 1 hour time frame. All right. It looks like we're going to rock it up one more time into that higher zone. Okay. 28,007, 28,650 area. That's what I'm seeing for bitty Bitcoin. Okay. Let's get back to our bigger idea. So the weekly, super amazing what the weekly's doing. VELO looks to follow in the next 2 hours. VELO is looking nice for a possible gain here. I'm watching VELO closely. VELO gets hot. People like VELO. They've been waiting to accumulate. They've been watching on the sidelines. You know, it can make those gains. And again, it could dump to the downside. There's no guarantees. Okay, that's one thing I want to break down. Nothing is guaranteed in trading. All it is probabilities. I use indicators that are highly likely, and I trade those indicators. Nothing else, nothing more. All right, and there's no emotion needed because there's no emotion that is there. Now there's the emotion of picking and pulling. Like PEPE was hot, and I saw it on Twitter, and like there's a bit of instinctual ideas. I mean, where you're going, right? I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I'm saying you should be taken as financial advice. I'm just talking about kind of how I navigate through this field of coins everywhere and different opportunities and what I'm looking at. Okay. For instance, we're going to talk about tap tools in a second, and we're going to break that down for you in a little bit. And we're going to show you kind of how to operate in this zone, what you need, what wallets you want, where you want to go, stuff like that. We're here for you. We're going to break it down. Okay. We're not just traders here. We're also DeFi, just absolute obsessions of DeFi. We understand the back end, the front end, and we want to show you all that we can here on this channel. Remember, there's so much to bring you every single day. That's why I could do these live streams for 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and still not give you all the sauce that I'm looking at, because there's just so much, and it never stops, and it keeps coming, and we're just moving through this space as fast as humanly possible, and sometimes it seems like an unending task, but it's a beautiful thing. Okay? It's a beautiful thing. And the fact that it's never ending and ongoing is so special. So again, look, a flag outside of this flag, and that's almost just a straight sayonara move to the upside. And I kept saying that falling wedges break up 68% of the time. You had a bullish divergence in the 12-hour and the 8-hour. I went over all these concepts numerous times. And then I already showed you the weekly time frame, and I showed you that we were above the 200 SMA, and I showed you how it was likely to take a trade. I just put a poll out too. All right. Is the bottom in for Bitcoin? Will we see sub 20K ever again? All right. And let's see what people said here. 563 votes. 41% say never again. Definitely a big dump coming, and no clue. So most of the people believe we'll never see 20K again. And I believe we have, interesting, smart people. Wise man once said, I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. And that's what I say on my live stream all the time. I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. Okay. At the same time, I have called public bottoms and public tops before based on high probability ideas. And again, I usually don't try to go back on them. And I've been publicly calling for this bottom here based on bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. And I've gone back in time and shown you, and even on the 3-day. And I've gotten back in time and I've back tested this for everyone here. And I only just said, hey, the math speaks for itself. This is a very rare indication that you never see. Now, yes, black swan, anything could happen, but even on a black swan, like so many people want to buy up Bitcoin. There's so many buy orders here. Like we never got to test these low areas again. I do not believe we're going to ever break this previous low. I believe there's a 99% chance. All right, fine. That's a 1% chance, but it's 99% accurate that we have bottomed here. And I'm going to keep saying this over and over again. And again, I should say, at the end of the day, I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance, and I get it. But at one point, I have to go over all the math that I've done in my life, and I have to give it to you straight. Just like I was called this top here because we had bearish divergence. And I had to just say, that's just too obvious. And we were far away from the 21-day moving average on the weekly. Now we're getting close to the 21. This is right here. This is where it all begins. This is the special sauce. Look, every time you're touching the 21 after a low, look how beautiful it is. Like, this is just a known fact. So if we can stay above these two levels here, the 21 and the 200, and we can get this crunch, And again, and this is like a bull flag that I've played on many different assets in my life. Like we just showed you it on VELO on the 1 hour time frame. It's the same concept here. And we're looking at this just beautiful little bull flag that wants to make a nice move to the upside. And stop loss below the 200 SMA. Just like I teach you how to trade the 4 hour and the 1 hour the same exact way, with the same parameters and the same idea, just on a larger scale on the weekly. Okay. Does this make sense? Is anyone lost here? How many people understand what I'm saying? How many people are just so new? They're just kind of in amazement. They're like, whoa. How many people just like this type of live stream? Who's getting a lot out of the live stream today? Because I know I am. I know I am. I reteach myself the same things every day, and they help reiterate what I know. This is the constant practice of life in front of you every single day. This is the constant obsession of a person continuously vibing into the same vibration over and over again until it vibrates so high it begins to spin. And that spinning creates a momentum, and that momentum begins to grow, and that growth begins to push, and that push begins to blow up, and then boom. All right? All right? See, the people say he needs a pullback, in my opinion. Sam, tell me why shorting the resistance isn't a good move. Well, I don't believe we're at resistance anymore. The next resistance is going to be when we attempt to double top. The weekly resistance, right? So let's break that down. You know, we have broken above resistance, in my humble opinion. We were at resistance. We were at resistance. Okay? Like we were just obviously at a resistance. Here, I mean, this was a major resistance. Couldn't bet above, couldn't get above, fell down below, made the bullish divergence, broke back above. Then we had to break this one, we broke that one too. So your next resistance would be somewhere up in here at this previous swing high. You're talking 29,008. All right. So for me, like, there's just no reason what I would do is I watch the continuation patterns at hand. All right. And what I want to see is like the 7 minute making some type of bull flag here. The 1 hour, the 15. I want to see some consolidation, and then we're ready to rock and roll and continue to the upside. It's just that simple to me. You know, eventually the 4 hour is going to pull you back. You're very overbought on the 4 hour time frame. Okay? But you broke a point of control on the VRVP. You have to understand how powerful these things are. Here's the high volume node that you couldn't get back above. So whether you trade the VRVP, whether you trade Fibonacci, whether you trade support and resistance, whether you trade volume gaps, whether you would trade order blocks, it's all the same. At the end of the day, if you understand price action, you are in the pocket. And if you are in the pocket and you know divergences, you have the ability to see what others don't. Okay? And knowing when you're back above the 200 SMA, remember I told you the 4 hours back above that, that's bullish sign. Remember I said open up longs. I open up a long every single time. And I've gone over this in the live stream hundreds of times, but I'll continue to do so. All right? Because I know people work. I know people don't write everything down. But look, once you got a 4 hour candle above the 200 SMA, it was time to open up a long with a stop loss on the other side. And boom, beautiful swing trade to the upside. Even here, once you close the candle on the 4 hour above here, stop loss on the other side, swing it up as far as you can get it. Same thing here, booming to the upside. This one was a little one, but it still paid. Right? This one was a nice one, it paid well. And then you do it the same way. You get back below, you open up the short. And this is just a way to play the game. All right? And this is how you swing trade. The second this went below and you open up a short, you would have gotten paid in the money. Then you wait. Sometimes you wait patiently. The second you get above this and you close a candle, this tells you to open up a big fat long. Keep the stop loss on the other side of the moving average here. And again, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed to move. I'm just saying this is kind of what the technical analysis suggests with no emotions. You get in here somewhere with a stop loss below, and this may just be the one that pushes further up. There's also a gap in the VRVP here. It tells you that these two areas are likely to achieve. You also just broke out of a falling wedge, and you have a measured move here that you must achieve 78% of the time, 68% with a little more padded movement there. I mean, that's going to take you at least to that next volume high right here too. And that coincides with the end of the rally. It's all there, and it's 31,000. Then we flag out. We could do whatever, right? And remember, this is a bigger cup and handle at play. This has been, and I just showed you how the Bears are losing momentum on the bigger time frames. I can't, I have to reiterate these facts. All right, for Bitcoin. So Where do I see us tomorrow? What's happening for Bitcoin? Well, the weekly's just getting started. I see a massive move coming for the weekly, personally. And maybe another bank collapses. Maybe this is kind of the beginning of something. They're kind of, show me the charts and I'll show you the news. All right? End of story. That's all I got to say. So now what we're doing is we've broken free from the 21-day moving average. So we have to watch this time frame on, I'd say, on the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frame. So this is telling me some type of pullback, yes, and we could just come and retest. It would be awesome if we retest this. This is like, that would show signs of strength, and we would come back down to like 27,006. Get a retestment, right? A little bit of a red move, and then we get our further move to the upside. Now, it doesn't have to go that way. We have our twisted sister. It could go more sideways into a bull panic like so. And we'll watch for both indications, and I'll keep you privy because every 5 hours I'm doing an update and I'm watching for Bitcoin. So this is kind of simple stuff for me. We're going to watch this time frame, and then we're going to also, in the 4 hour says, yes, time to open up a long, and with a stop loss below the 200 SMA. Again, that's just what it says. You do whatever makes you happy. All right. If you have time, ORDI, TA would be appreciated. Let's get into ORDI. I appreciate it. I will do it. Where's the best place to look at ORDI? Again, one thing I wanted to talk about was I put this trade out in the trading group Bank. It got put on my radar by a fellow named Crypto Billy. You may have heard of him. And he said, hey, man, this thing is paying out. It's doing well. So I looked at it, and I looked at this channel, and I put this channel up for a possible gain of about, 86, almost 90%, 83% gains. And that thing mooned today. That's the 5-minute chart. So, and swiftly, within about, that's 50, probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours, this thing had made another 80% gain, right? So, wow. And this is how you get this, is you open up what's called a NAMI wallet, NAMI, all right? And then you go to what's called MinSwap, and you jump into MinSwap with your NAMI. And you buy Cardano, right, on any exchange. You send it to your NAMI wallet. Fast. It's super fast and efficient. Cardano works great. And then you go to MinSwap, and you swap the Cardano for this bank token. All right? Simple as simple does. Just like MetaMask, if you've ever used the MetaMask swap. If you've used PancakeSwap, you use Uniswap, you use them all. You just got to be careful. Take it slow, This suggests that another move could be coming. I mean, it's in the falling wedge that Bitcoin was in. Okay, so just, seeing that this could continue to moon a little bit here now to the upside. And again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm just going by probabilities here. I'm a math guy, and I play the math. There's nothing kind of 50% gains possibly coming for this. No one paid me to talk about this coin. I found it on my buddy told me about it today. So through my life, I found out about it. SNEK was also hot. People like SNEK a lot. It seemed to get some momentum. I didn't buy into it for whatever reason. It didn't get me. It didn't, And again, we would have somewhere around here. I can see it's been slowly climbing ever since its massive dump. It is up about 11x to 10x almost. So for the last week or two, it's been moving. But you would have had to bought that low, But I hear this coin a lot here and there through the grapevine. And you can see it's actually kind of doing a little bit of a flag here. And what's interesting is the Cardano ecosystem is picking up. It never really had its DeFi summer. And what someone was saying to me is is Cardano about to have its DeFi summer? And this is going to help the price of Cardano because more and more people are going to be looking to get into these coins. And Cardano's fast. And so because Cardano's fast and efficient, it can do a lot more transactions and quick. And no one's going to complain about high gas fees. And so I believe once it gets up and running and it really moves on a higher level, Sunday Swap, whatever happened, I mean, that was kind of the sad thing. There's Sunday there, and Sunday Swap was supposed to be the bomb, and never really heard much about it. Somehow MinSwap taking over, which is M-I-N. MinSwap is taking over, which is interesting to me because it was never even heard of it. Now it seems to be the one. Sunday Swap. I'd like to see Sunday Swap come back and take the reins. All right. Look, it's so low at 3 and people were sacrificing their Cardano for Sunday. Remember that? Oh my gosh. I didn't do it. I decided, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm keeping my Cardano where my Cardano sits, and I'm really happy I didn't. I did do that because, wow. Anyway, so Bank's been hot on this ecosystem, And again, this is called tap tools. Tap tools is where you want to go to kind of understand what's happening. AGIX has a Cardano address. A lot of people don't realize that. And you can just see kind of what's up, what's down, what's going on in the market. Look, VYFI up 190, or is that 1.0? 1.9. Okay, I was like, whoa. You never know. But this is tap tools. And this is where you kind of live on the Cardano blockchain with your NAMI wallet and learn. All right. And again, I just explained how you would get Cardano. You would buy it, use it, send it on the blockchain to your wallet. And look, you even have a little bit of hidden bullish divergence here as that swings up and that swings down. It tells you that you're gearing up for some type of move here for Bitcoin. Which is, and I know it's high risk, high reward at this point, but previous resistance, new support, this thing could rally. And I mean, you're about to tap the 786 fib level. You see what I mean? So that thing could make some serious gains to the upside. All right. Let's see here. Oh yeah, you want ORDI. I just wanted to see ORDI on CoinMarketCap. Sorry about that. It's back to 991. That's a nice price for it. I've been watching it on and off as well. So if people want to learn too, you might as well we'll give them some backdrop. So about ordinals, the total amount of Bitcoin is 21 million. One can be subdivided into 100 million Satoshis. Satoshi is sat in the smallest unit of a Bitcoin, and there are 21 trillion Satoshis in total. Here we must first understand the inscription, which is created by writing content to Satoshi using the ordinals protocol. The inscription does not need to use a separate token, sidechain, or change Bitcoin. What the ordinals protocol does is to write information to each Satoshi, such as text, pictures, audio, and video. Due to the size limit of the Bitcoin blockchain, the main information for inscribe that is mint is mainly text and pictures in the form of NFT and token. All right, if that makes any sense to you. All right. Schiff is converting to crypto. So funny, right? Well-known figure CZ. That's pretty funny. That's some big news, but if I tell you he finally bowing, So here's Ordinal's got a contract, right? And we see ORDI is on BitGet, it's on BingX, it's on Bitmart, OKX, ORDI, USDT. So we'll look at ORDI on Gate.io. So let's take a look. It took a nice little move out of that little wedge that we drew there, tight wedge, and it seems like it's finally beginning to bottom. What I see is a large Adam and Eve, right? I mean, my wife's putting my baby to bed in the other room, my little 2-year-old, and she's crying. So look, you have a bit of a double, an Adam and Eve double bottom, all right? And we know if you can continue up this way and form a bit of a bull here, that we can get that massive pump to the upside. And from here, you're talking, again, this is the aggressive entry, but to see things before they happen is the key. And after years of doing it, you begin to kind of build this bond. Now, ORDI came up nice, but once it got to the bigger exchanges, it became exit liquidity. All right, then people bought in, and that was just the retail that saw it on the exchange. And then the same people that got in again continued to send it from the wallet. These were the late people, and they begin to sell off yet again. Right now it's easy. Now they know where it is. Now they maybe want to start trading on the exchange. They may want some. They may make bigger gains, and they send half the ORDI just to kind of get rid of it and turn it into some capital for trading. So the idea is that whole process, right? 176.61% possibly coming out of ORDI, and this is kind of what I'm seeing. All right. All right. Bitcoin just moved by 300. I know. Took a nice move to the upside. So I'm watching Bitcoin here, as you can see on the 1 minute time frame. All right, and you can see there's hidden bullish divergence. You're getting oversold. It's forming this falling wedge again, right? and it's saying, hey, you know, and when we pull it, it's even the 786 there, which it just bounced off of, if you can see, right into the zone. And it wants to make a bigger move to the upside. We see there's more liquidity at 28,600. Eventually, we're going to get a bit of a pullback with that 4-hour time frame, in my humble opinion. But the daily is looking pretty nice. We just want that daily to close above that previous high on the left. All right, we'll give you that one more time. All right. So tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, this is what we really want to see happen. It's actually very important that we see what we're talking about here. Stop that. So it's super important that we get back above and we stay above. Always the 4-hour time frame, I guess, is going to give us the best picture here. So see these two 4-hour candles here at about 28,199. We want to stay above that. Okay, we want to stay above that. We want this candle to close. You know, we'll bring this down a little bit, but above this green line. Super important. We come back down. It could even be a bull trap. We end up to the bottom of this, and then, you know, anything. I'm open-minded. Anything is possible. The 4-hour does need a reset. And so what we're looking for is just some type of reset, like I said, for the 4-hour, to even maybe come back to test here or these two regions, you know? So we could easily get one more little pump to that 28.4, and then the 4-hour can make a falling wedge to the downside. And it's getting very overbought with the RSI. We could wait for that one more bullish divergence, which could push us further up, swing up to swing up, swing down to swing down. We could front run that idea. And then at that point, it'd be a good time to open up a short probably, you know? So that's kind of what I'm looking at. And that would be the next area of liquidity too, if we could, you know, so we jump up here one more time to 28,696, 787, and then we come into here where there's so many sell orders in this area. You can even see there's a gap in the VRVP. So it's just telling us that we're going to probably camp out here at this 28.1 area and kind of get our rounds, and some smaller time frames flagging out. It looks like we can get that bigger move. Eventually then the 4-hour will make some type of pullback. All right. So I'm just front running these ideas for you before they happen, just to show you what I'm seeing. All right. And the level that must be achieved and we must stay above is 28,000, really 150. All right. So we're kind of like, we're dangling right now tonight. So it would be nice if we got that extra move up to give us that extra little zone of liquidity. Okay. Let's take a look at the DXY. So the DXY is in this really, really bad bearish divergence. You know, it's starting to make a bad bearish divergence in the 4-hour time frame. You know, yes, it's moving up, but it's moving up far higher there than it is on the RSI. You're seeing lack of, I guess, some bearish momentum too as well. And that's why I have this sideways here. Like, does it just go sideways and make a flag, which is, you know, not the best idea? Or does it start to break to the downside? And so we want to watch this closely. And if we continue to make a continuation pattern, then there's a higher likely we continue. If we come down and we retest, then it's likely we continue down. Rising wedges do break down 68% of the time. I'd be looking for this to come back up, hit some type of rejection point, and continue to the downside. The daily is very, very overbought. But again, we're likely to touch at least, the 200 SMA, get rejected by it, and then begin to fall to the downside. We do see this double bottom, and it's kind of Adam and Eve-like. That's the only thing that's got me a little weary that we could see a bigger move for Bitcoin. But it doesn't always have to happen. I do see a spike to this 200 SMA, though, which could be Bitcoin's pullback in the next day or two after it gets that initial, or even after tonight, after it gets a rally a little further to the upside. Okay. DXY is just a meme coin, but we do have to watch it. ES1 was the S&P futures. Let's just take a look at what's happening to the S&P futures. And again, I've been bullish on this ever since. The daily looks exactly like we've been talking about, going over the idea here. We have a bigger ascending triangle in hand. I called the bottom in October, right? We made kind of almost a little kind of a double bottom. Then we made this cup with this handle that I talked about. We broke out. We made a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder there. We broke out of that. We went sideways in here now, and now we're forming an ascending triangle in an ascending triangle. Measured move to the upside. I could see the S&P at about $4,500. They turn the money printer on. We hang above this point of control. You can see sticking out this high volume node. We're going all the way to this one here at 46.87. So get ready for a wild ride in here. It looks like we're getting a blow up move in the S&P in the next week or two. By 3 weeks, this should begin to be halfway over, almost done. I see something big happening for the S&P 500. Money printer go brrr. Sam, is the group pump fake? 23 is going to be bad for all markets. Not a bull or bear. Just look at the facts. Feds are going, wow, Mark Whitfield doesn't understand that that is a narrative of emotion, and we don't use emotion here, okay? All we do is look at the charts. What you're saying could 100% happen. So what you're saying is yes, the charts will show us. So if you believe there's some weak bull, some weak price action coming, then this will reverse. We will get a weekly close below the 200 SMA, and I will flip bearish as you've seen me. And I'll say, wow, it's a shame. We were really doing well, but they brought us back down here, and now we must short the market. So, but as long as we stay above this, I don't care what you say. I don't care what government, what tank, what army, what anything you think is going to kill Bitcoin. You have to remember, Bitcoin's is a worldly company. It's a worldly coin. And what's interesting is, you listen to Sale or you listen to some other people and they discuss Bitcoin. And so I'm just going to go to a random place on the Bitcoin chart. So that's the dollar, that's the S&P 500. And then we told you the total market cap was looking bullish. How many days did I go over this falling wedge? How many days did I talk about this structure? How many days did I go over the idea that we were bouncing off the previous resistance? I showed you the 3-day and how aggressive it was. I showed you that the MACD was coming for itself here. And again, this tells me that we're pushing up. I even went over this and I circled it. We're going back to $1.38 trillion. We stayed well above $1 trillion despite this. That's a cup and handle. It's a shoulder, head, and a shoulder, retesting the neckline. I've seen this many, many times. We have a massive chunk of liquidity in here. We would go to the value area highs into the zone. I don't see why we don't even have that much resistance. We really don't. We have this one level to tussle with is 1.14, and then we're on our way to 1.24, and then continuing through this channel. Now, we could double top there. I'm not saying we can't, but for now, we're in a pocket of some money-making swing trades that look nice to me. So that last 3-day chart, usually, look, how long did it go down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 30 to 40 days. This says that we have 30 to 40 days of some nice price action up until possibly late July where things could slow down again. And then August and September are usually the worst months to trade Bitcoin. I can't stand September, but you never know. Anything can happen. But September notoriously has just been a wreck month. But we'll short if we have to. And it doesn't mean it's going to happen this time. Anything can happen. I'm open-minded. But, I'm bracing for the end of the summer bummers. But you never know. Okay? Shout out to everybody here. 500 people on the live. 295 people. Who here has never watched the live stream in their life? Let me know. Is the music really off this whole time, even though I can hear it? Oh, it's just too low, right? Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. It's been there, just been super low. Super low. I think that's a little high now, but... No emotions, can't trade off emotions, but just my thoughts, brother. It's a bad time right now. Exactly, your thoughts are coming from your emotions. You know what I mean? You can only trade what the chart shows you, man. You're kind of contradicting yourself without realizing. I love you, and I'm probably being rude, but I'm just trying to teach you kind of a ethereal mindset to be ahead of the masses by not looking at even your own thoughts, just looking at what the chart tells you. Like, I'm above this level, bullish. I'm below this level, bearish. There's nothing in the middle. Okay. What are emotions? No idea. Shout out to James Manford. Shout out to David Roy. Shout out to Marlon. Shout out to Crypto Bear Baker. Shout out to Texas Wheezy. All right. Autocorrect messed up my message. If DXY hits a moving average and rejects, would that not be an Adam and Eve in the opposite direction? It could be, and it would be a beautiful dump to the downside. That's what we're looking for sure. How do I get the loyalty pre-sale? Jasmine, loyal pre-sale. All right. Now remember, they call him Ben.eth. That is his name. So just go to Ben.eth. All right, and again, I'm not a financial advisor. I did this earlier today. I'm just explaining what I did. Third time's a charm, blah, blah, blah. I will not hold a supply. And right there, that is going to be the contract address. So you could either send Ben.eth, so you could just go to your MetaMask wallet. After you sent Ethereum to it, you would go to your MetaMask. And you would basically just type send. And you would type in Ben.eth. It's really that simple because that's how he's connected. That's an unstoppable domain. You click on that and then you send however you want to send and you'll get the tokens back. It's called the pre-sale. All right. And that's it. All right. It's pretty simple. All right. You just have to make sure you have Ethereum in your wallet. right? And if you don't want to do the beneath, that's the contract right there. I humbly believe that's him. That's his verified address. And again, do your own research. I could be wrong. You got to do this for yourself. I did it for myself. I took the risk, and it's high risk, high reward. You could lose it all. Anything could happen. Just be very, very careful. All right. I don't risk what I'm not willing to lose. But again, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. That's all. This is in real life. So I like the S&P 500 too as well. Looking beautiful to me. All right. Looking sweet. So now once you have this rest, now we have these 3-day charts on a lot of coins. And they're all looking very, very bullish, like DMTR. And they're showing signs of a massive move to the upside. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some big move for DMTR back to that 14 level. That could be a 3x. It's just an interesting, and I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but you have falling volume, falling price, you have previous resistance, you're bouncing off of some areas. You're even low here on the stochastics RSI. All right, you're also inside of golden pockets on the, and you've bounced into golden pockets right here on the Fibonacci levels. Things are just looking absolutely scrumptious. All right, so it's all lining up. You got moving averages coming together. This could be a nice move for DMTR. All right, and I've been talking about this in the trading group. I've gone over it many times. There's a bunch of different 3-day charts that look amazing to me. And this isn't like, everyone wants that fast money. I get it, but the big money comes in the bigger time frames. And you'll graduate to this idea over time. All right, after 5 years of staring at leverage screens and leverage trading, you'll love it. Don't get me wrong, and you'll be so rich and you'll be happy. You'll sit back and you'll begin to trade the 3-day charts, and you'll begin to kind of open up. You know what I mean? Because that's what you traded for. You didn't trade leverage for 5-6 years to sit there and trade leverage for another 10 years straight. You traded to go out on your yacht, to fly your helicopter places, right? To fly into Game 7 and pay $3,000 a ticket with your best friend. That's what you paid. That's what you grinded for years. So remember what your aim goal is: to be 100% free in all times. To go look at your real estate properties, to have maybe start a firm, hire traders to trade for you, right? And just take a percentage, and realize that it's that's to get to some other level status. And it's funny, you hear me say that like, whoa. But I'm just, I try to look 10, 20 years from now. Where do I want to be? What do I want to be doing? And I like to project that idea. All right. And I want to be around the world doing something big. Should you short Bitcoin? You got to do whatever makes you happy, man. I would never tell you what to do. GMM is really cheap, and I better think Sandbox and it'll be better than, wow, that's interesting. I stuck to you what you said in 99 above the 200 SMA. Nothing to worry about. The money now took gains out. And for the next bull run. Love you, Sammy. Amen, brother. Our Celtics are going for it, brother. I can't believe what's happening with the Celtics. That game was insane last night. I could barely sleep after that. I sat up all night. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. This is looking nice. This is called hidden bullish divergence. It's a highly accurate indicator that you create yourself. And that tells me there's a big move coming for Bitcoin, all right? And it just tells me, that hidden bullish. And you can label them both so people can understand what I'm talking about. And you can make these settings yourself. Like, they're not there. You have to add these. But then you can kind of track what's happening, keep it neat and complete. All right? So 258% gains possibly coming out of this. I mean, that's going to be a massive move to 6, and it's going to break an all-time high. I'm not guaranteeing this as well, but it's something that I'm beginning to look at. And I kind of I stay on a trade for days on end. I keep watching it. I've built a very large position here at these low levels. But again, I know that nothing is handed to me and nothing is given. It's all probability, and that is it. There's nothing more, nothing less. Okay, why is that considered hidden bullish while going towards the downside in the RSI? Hidden bullish is when you have an uptrend in the price action, but a downtrend on the RSI. That's called hidden bullish divergence, not bullish divergence. So don't get it confused. They're two different things. All right. Thank you for your question, though. God bless you, Solosis V2. Frunk, so why isn't Pepe following the trend? Bearish. Let's look at Pepe here on KuCoin. Actually, Pepe on MEXC kind of has a better chart. So Pepe, I mean, if we look at it on the 3-day, it's not too shabby. Like if we break it down and we zoom out and we look at things for what they are, that's a bull flag. And it's a nice one. Like look at the pumpage. It's had multiple retracements, but enough people seem to want to buy into this thing to tell me that it can have legs. Yeah, no. Now I know I have no oscillators on this right now, but I'm just going over the facts here. How many times have you, just my mind has seen this structure over and over again. See, the more you've impounded into your brain, the less you need. Because the more times you've traded it in multiple facets, but you've seen all the different angles. So Pepe, I mean, that doesn't, this could definitely go lower. The 22 is a little scant. And you'd see this move further down. But eventually you're going to see a hardcore divergence. Maybe it's somewhere around here. When that comes down, this continues up. But at one point, this will reset. You'll see a bullish divergence, and you'll begin to get your move to the upside. And I believe Pepe isn't done. Charts tell me that Pepe is not done. Pepe ain't done, baby. And I got $1,000 into Pepe that says it ain't done. So, again, I've put some of, not all my money. I'm not all in again. Again, I talk about playing it safe with the meme coin. Resistance. Wait for Pepe to get back above resistance and use that as a support line. If you see a wick on the 5-minute, on the 7-minute after a pump here, that could be the real magic, And again, that's a greedy person wants it all. But look at that. That would still be a nice double up. You know what I mean? If anything, you can walk in. Everyone wants it all. But just what about a double up and walk it away? Nice double top at the next point of resistance. And I'm not saying this is guaranteed. But you have to plan out your trades. It's just like playing chess, where you don't know what your opponent's going to do, but you plan out at least 50, 60 different positions in which you're going to take it, and you go from there. All right? That's how we play these things. All right? So shout out to anyone in the trading group. You would have made massive gains with us. You'd be up to the 28,000. You wouldn't have got wrecked shorting the market. And you'd be like, and I'll prove it to you. If you're in my trading group, look at what we were talking about for the last few. Let's just talk about it. Let's break it down. We'll go through all my Bitcoin updates and ideas here that I put out throughout the different trading days. Okay. Since 526, it's now 528. All right. Now, it all started for me when I was talking about, this is where it all really began. We found this bullish divergence. I drew this cup and handle. Bitcoin was sitting at 26,350, and I decided that the 15-minute was going to pump up to the 200 SMA, and that was our first kind of swing trade. All right. And we got it. We got the move to the upside. Boom. Once the 15 got above it, I talk about, wow, and we went over all the times the 15 got above the 200 SMA and how it was a bigger move. We showed you more liquidity to the upside and suggested that Bitcoin would continue up to the $26,800 level, and that's what we were looking at. All right. Moving forward. I do a Bitcoin update where I talk about Bitcoin continuing out of this flag to the upside and how it must get back inside that zone. All right. I do a bunch of live streams where we like call Bitcoin live again. There's a bunch of things that I'm looking at. Bencoin retracing to that spot. And then I'm starting to look at this. I'm looking for a right shoulder here on the 7-minute for a pump to 27,200, even 27. But first I see this first initial target. Okay. I stay with it and I keep watching it. And we put out a list of Chinese coins, double bottoms. There's just so much out here. Then I see Bitcoin on the 1 hour, and I'm looking for this to make a move. Now, this is the one time it did a nasty little dip. I remember this, right? So that swing trade did not play out. comes back up from the bullish divergence, makes a flag, and I start seeing that Bitcoin can break out of this flag yesterday morning at 11:30 in the morning. All right. I do a quick Bitcoin update, and I talk about it being bullish. It starts to break out. Go to the beach with my mom. As I'm at the beach with my mom, I start seeing an Adam and Eve double bottom on Bitcoin. And I see it right here at 521 yesterday. I said, that's an Adam and Eve. And I got a target up in the green box at 27,200. All right. And I start getting the vibe. And then I see the inverted head and shoulder, head and shoulder. And I pointed out, I said, that's an inverted. I was at the beach with my mom, but I still wanted I wanted to be in tune with you. Okay. And then it started to break out of that inverted head and shoulder. And that was even just a nice swing trade as it was. Right. But that was a beautiful call by 8 o'clock later that night. And then I say, well, we're likely to go to the green box, remember, by 8 p.m. from the morning update. But we don't. On Saturday morning, we end up getting, but eventually today at 12 at night, we do get into the green box. Okay. And so that starts to form the formation of the bigger move. All right. And then Bitcoin continues to rip to the upside. All right. And so then I drew a flag, and I'm like, well, it's likely to break out of this flag. We're talking to 27,600, right? And we got that move. And then I'm saying, we'll get to my green area. And then it just continued to rip. And the smaller time frames took over, right? But we hit the circled area yet again. It was just multiple really smaller flags. And then we also had the bigger picture, on the live last night, I was pointing out how the MACD had just crossed on that daily time frame. There was just a lot of bullish confluence of someone who's done this for a long time, and it just starts to make sense. It starts to make a lot of sense. All right. So the technical analysis is a beautiful thing. If you stick with it, it can begin to show you what's happening in the market. It begin to open up kind of a lot of things for you. And that's what I do here on the channel. That's why this is what you're getting, so much information. The 99 is full of people grinding and talking about different things. Like, he's got CFX charted. People are asking questions. This guy hit Ben for 218% on a long. There's so much action in the trading group. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. All right. And then we even show you what to do. Like, everyone's freaking out about Bitcoin, and it's like, well, calm down. Watch the 1 hour. Watch the 4 hour. Look for a pullback. Like, that's just what happens. Nothing goes up forever. And once you make spaces away from the 21-day moving average, expect some type of pullback. And however far you are for the 21, expect some type of move here. It could be a lower move. It could be a higher move. You don't know exactly, but what you do know is you're going to kiss the 21-day moving average and continue, either fall a little bit below it and play with it. But whatever happens, and you'll know the different variations as you begin to see them over time. But until someone shows you this, you're never going to see it. But this is likely our next move already, but this can't happen until we kiss the 21-day moving average. And that's just what I would watch Bitcoin go sideways for most of the night. Like, that's probably going to be our high for the week, for that weekly close. All right, and we get into Monday, and they do the false moves, and we go from there. All right, and things just kind of compile. I didn't realize how many times I hit this, and I bugged out. I guess I didn't realize it was actually opening. All right, and there you have basically the day. And we're going to bring you some news right now to break it down for you as well. Hello, my name is Samuel James Price, and every single day I do a show called Crypto Lifer. I'm the Crypto Lifer, and this is my show, and I also bring you the news. And the news is basically about, things that are happening in the blockchain. If there's an upgrade, if there's a mainnet, if two big, tokens or coins are happening to work with each other, that's something that we want to see too as well. So right now, I'm bringing you this big news coming out with Cardano and Matic, two OGs in the game, deciding to kind of hang out, chill. Cardano and Polygon interoperability milestone reached with this innovation. Cardano and Polygon interoperability is now possible as the cross-chain liquidity aggregator Blueshift's new cross-chain protocol goes live. So Blueshift, we're live and kicking. Experience seamless bridges across chain swaps between Polygon and Cardano. Join the top 5 in Zilli Sprint to share a 250 USDT prize. Don't miss out at Zilli.io. Users can also swap tokens on chains Blueshift is currently connected with, including the Layer 2 protocol Milk Media. Algorand EVM compatible chain development by Milk Media refers to as Algorand A1. Cardano EVM compatible chain development by Milk Media referred to as Cardano C1, Kava Chain, and Polygon. Blueshift aims to be connected with all Ethereum Layer 2s by the end of the summer as it continues to work to push the limits of cross-chain interoperability, decentralized exchanges in the decentralized finance arena. I mean, that would be amazing to go from Lido DAO to Rocket Pool, to Arbitrum to Optimism, back to Cardano, back to Matic, and flip all around. That's where we want to stay, where the fees are low and the gains are high, and that's exciting. I'm excited to see that. That's what I want to see. I'm a holder of both coins. This is just good for both of my investments long term. Beijing releases white paper for Web3 innovation and development. Beijing has released a Web3 white paper to promote the industry's development. The timing of the release is interesting, according to the CEO of Binance, who noted Hong Kong's crypto rules come into effect next week. Beijing, China's capital city, reported released a white paper this morning aimed at promoting innovation and development of the Web3 technology. Dubbed the Web3 Innovation and Development White Paper, the document states that the Web3 technology is an inevitable trend for the future internet industry development, according to a report from local news outlet The Paper. This is huge. Next thing you know, they could be opening up trading in China as it is. As for China, it prohibited the use of cryptocurrencies in 2021, but the release of this Web3 white paper, it appears to be opening up to the industry in some form. This is kind of predicating the idea that more money is coming into the market, not from Hong Kong. Maybe this is Hong Kong is just the beginning, and we're going to see some massive influx. Something's brewing here. You can smell it, you can taste it, you can see it. There's writing on the wall if you're not paying attention. Ether balance on exchanges nears an all-time low. The number of Ethereum on exchanges hit a low not seen since July of 2016. I mean, more people are using it in decentralized finance, right? They want to get into a new coin. They want to do this. They want to do that. Even me, like sometimes I'm in on an exchange, sometimes I'm over here, and people are staking, right? So they're putting it on these layer 2s, and they're making a boatload with liquid staking. Why would you keep it on an exchange when you could basically make some money and actually get liquidity? There's just no reason not to. So also then you have the long-term holders that just love holding their Ethereum. All that combined, you can see how Ethereum is becoming more deflationary every single day. So that's actually some big news. If you hadn't heard it today, that's some awesome news. So yes, a pullback is coming. There's a nice wick to the downside there. We do see a little bit of bullish divergence. It's like a class C, because this is just a steeper hill than that. It doesn't mean it really is bearish divergence, but it has that vibe. And right here is a bearish divergence. I'll show you, because these technically swing up while these go flat, and that's a bearish divergence right there too as well. So it looks like there will be a little bit of a pullback for Bitcoin or some sideways price action. We don't know exactly which way it will go, but it to me says that the top for tonight is likely in. And I don't think it'll be till maybe Monday night into Tuesday until we start to see our next bigger move to the upside for Bitcoin. Okay. And that brings me to the night, everyone. I appreciate you jumping on in. Thank you for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. I appreciate you all. I hope you learned a lot. I did a lot. I mean, it was an amazing live stream. One of the best I ever had, in my humble opinion. Really, really enjoyed this live stream. It was just one of those live streams that just made sense. It felt right. And so I hope you're doing well. I hope you're hanging out. I hope you're enjoying this Memorial Day weekend with all your family, friends, and loved ones. I hope you were a fun dad today. I hope you played the Frisbee or did something interesting instead of sleeping on the beach like I did. But there's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the super chats. Someone asked for Jasmine. Jasmine kind of changed their circulating supply, and they put a bad taste in my mouth. When they did that, I've kind of never really felt like I wanted to touch it again, in my humble opinion. So had that nice cup and handle which it pumped from here, and then look, it lost that channel and dropped to the downside. So yeah, Jasmine, I lost the love for Jasmine that I had. It just, it doesn't appeal to me as much. However, pattern trading 101 and no emotions needed, it can just pump right up here for a nice little gain. See that it can hold this zone. There's a bit of kind of like a bullish divergence there as that sharper up. 22-hour is not amazing. The 2-day chart suggests that you will get a bit of a move here, and where to? Probably to pump up to the 200 SMA area. I'd be watching for that. That's very highly likely or possible. So, all right. And then lastly, but not leastly, he asked about Hex. Hex has been struggling because it's been getting sold off. We'll take a look here on MEXC. Yeah, I mean, heavily sold off to 1 penny. It's in a falling wedge. Could it come back to the upside? Start. Anything is possible. It's interesting how it dumped right when Pulse Chain came out. It's as if people were only holding it just to get their double up coins. I don't know. It's interesting. But, you know, I wouldn't touch Hex until it can get back above 3 cents and 0.6 of a cent. That's going to be its major resistance point. It can get above there, then by all means. I see a shoulder, possible head, and a right shoulder beginning to form for Hex. I'd be watching something like this. Eventually, it has to make a move. If we go to the smaller time frame, do you see some bullish divergence? That's going to be your key out of this. That's what you want to look for to see if Hex can finally give itself a bit of a bottom. And then how much of that divergence can we get a move to the upside? I mean, they're both down right there. That's a little down. Well, that's a little bit of bullish divergence. Nothing too hot right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we did even see a lower low here for Hex, somewhere at even half a penny. So I'd be careful for Hex right now. It doesn't look amazing. You know, it's at a very area low. It could get sold off even a little more. You know, high risk is to try to take that move. I'd rather see it pump and retest and then try to swing trade it after it found some core support. But again, it all depends on what kind of trader you are. I'm less risky than I used to be, based on, you know, my past of trading, and basically after making gains being extremely risky, I've now wanted to keep those gains by being less risky, if that makes any sense. The open network may have a little boom out of this flag here. I'd watch this closely, something to look at, getting close to the 200 SMA. Once the 4-hour can get above there, we've gone over that multiple times. It's possible 13% gain out of the open network. All right. And Tau, last super chat screen. What is Tau, though? I don't even, something tells me it's like, my instincts tell me to stay away from it, but you never know. TOA. Tau coin. I mean, it's got no information. I can't even see the you know, what it does or what it's doing. I know nothing about this coin. The website, did it even load? Not secure. Yeah, I'm all set, man. Not today. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Please, yeah, it's all good, man. I'm moving on. Hex looks horrible, man. I know you didn't see it, but it looks horrible. Just imagine, you know, put up your chart as I'm talking. It's in the dumps. All right, look, it's all the way down there. You'd be looking for a possible shoulder head on a right shoulder. I'd say it's got to get above the support zone. And you heard all the other things I said, you know. There's a slight bullish divergence there. It's flatter than it used to be. Could start to be your bottom. I mean, it would be very, very aggressive to enter Hex there. But you'd have to believe in it. All right. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications.